3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everybody, to episode 10 of the Exit Row. I'm your host, Adama, here with Paige.
Hey, guys.
Justin.
Oh, hi.
Welcome, guys. Yeah. So the last few episodes, we keep on talking about, hey, you know, this is episode 8, this is episode 9, but now
it's a milestone.
We're double digits.
The number just keeps going up. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Paige, you just came back yesterday from
I sure did.
trip from Dallas.
I did.
Texas. Nice.
Yeah. Much nicer weather than it will be in Nebraska, tomorrow. But
It's nicer. It's nicer right now. What are you talking about?
right now until tomorrow. But yeah, me and my mom went there. We saw
Shout out
our
Paige's
coworkers that we've been working with for the last 5 years, and it's been super surreal and seriously one of the best experiences ever to finally meet them. You know, you talk to them through messages and video chat and whatever, and then to finally meet them is crazy. And so a little bit regarding the flights. The flights there.
Well, that's why we're here. Talk about the flights.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Enough about this coworker. Who cares? Talk about the flight.
Yeah, so that's a story for sure. Way there, not so bad. Everything was on time. Early, actually. All flights getting to layover in Dallas were early. However, the flights back, not so much. It got a little bit chaotic.
Okay, well, let's talk about the first 2 flights.
Yeah, talk about the flight down. On the flight down, you had 737, 700, 800. What'd you have? This is an AvGeek podcast. Talk about the flights.
Yeah,
well, the flight out of Omaha was a 737-800.
Cool.
And the one out of Denver got to go to my favorite airport in the world, even though I only experienced it for, an hour. But
It's better than nothing.
Right, yeah. Felt like home, got there, I was happy. Boeing 737 MAX 8 out of Denver.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
Max.
I may or may not got a MAX 8 safety card.
It was handed to you.
It was handed to me, yes, because they knew how much I loved aviation by my camera bag is decorated, so they knew. Yep.
Things happen.
How
was the MAX?
I mean, yeah,
Was it a brand new MAX or has it been around a while?
Brand new MAX.
Really?
Yes, this year. It's a newborn BB plane. It was born this year. So cute. It had new plane smell.
So you flew into Dallas Love, obviously,
Yep.
since you flew Southwest, correct? Mm-hmm. Not DFW, where the cool kids fly into, but anyway.
Yeah. Dallas Love spotted the Dallas Love field. Got some pretty sweet pictures. My very first special livery I ever flew on decided to visit me. Caught a couple other specials and lots of small planes, lots of business jets fly into Love Field. I mean, just about every 2 seconds there was one landing. So
spotting there, like, where do you go?
Garage C, at the top of parking Garage C, is one of the areas. There's a few others. If you go to spotterguide.net, you can find more there. But that's where I went. It was just the most convenient. I went with my mom and one of our supervisors.
Shout out to Paige's mom.
Shout out, Mom. Yeah.
What's up, Mom?
And then shout out to one of our supervisors and another coworker who actually tagged along with me. So that was really cool. And we were at the top of parking Garage C, which has a vantage point of both runways. Unfortunately, it was north departures, so it wasn't the best, but I got some landing photos. So yeah,
That's a cool thing about Love Field, like especially if you're a fan of Southwest like yourself. Love Field and places like Midway, you're guaranteed to probably see at least a couple specials because they're such huge Southwest
huge
hubs,
hub,
right?
Yeah.
How was spotting at DFW? How was Founders Plaza?
Oh, let's not bring that up. Yeah,
we brought it up.
Yeah,
Sorry,
of course. Yeah, we were kind of running short on time.
You can say pass, I guess, if that's easier.
Yeah, we were kind of running short on time, and we had an hour drive up north to Sherman, Texas, where we were staying, where all my coworkers live. So we'll save DFW, future Exit Row Pod trip to DFW Founders Plaza. Sounds like a great idea to me. So
I'm in.
Well, okay, so how was the trip back? Let's see.
Oh,
trip back was
yikes.
flawless, correct?
Yeah, this is
Yikes
the
on
story.
bikes. Yeah. Well, So we get to Love Field yesterday. We get on a, let's make this clear, brand new Boeing 737 MAX 8.
I do remember the month. Like, is it literally within 2 months? Was it? How new was it? Do you remember?
January. Both the one I flew in and out were January.
Okay.
And we get on, and I'm sure you all can relate. When you know something bad is about to happen, you just get a feeling in the pit of your stomach. And I got that when everyone got on the plane. And there was no, exact indicators that something was going to happen.
Like a crash? Like, what do you mean something bad? Like, this sounds weird.
Not bad like a crash, but just a very uneasy feeling. I don't even know how I knew it. But the captain came on the intercom, and he just took a deep breath, and he's like, all right, guys, I have some really bad news. And from that moment that it's not going to be good.
All right, first off, pilot, my man, why do we have to say it like that?
Right.
Why?
I mean, it's like extra bad when he comes off like that, if it's a slight delay, he's like, all right, guys, due to this, we have a little bit of delay, whatever. And he comes on and he says, due to a major maintenance issue, we will not be able to continue with this flight.
Major maintenance issue. You could just say maintenance issue. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's major.
It's major. It's not minor.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, he said due to, that, this aircraft is no longer airworthy, and we cannot
What
get
happened?
you out
Did the wings fall off? Why was it not airworthy?
Well, so after he said that, he said we will have to get off the plane, and there's no guarantee that we'll be able to get another plane, and so we'll probably have to rebook. And from that, I knew I was going to miss my connection in St. Louis and probably not make it into Omaha yesterday evening. So
that was the concern. Yeah.
Right.
Well, you'd rather be stuck at your destination than trying to leave Omaha. Look, I'm trying to be on the bright side.
Right. Yeah. So the issue ended up being something with the water hookup. So to bring water into the plane for, the sink and the coffee. And for those who don't know, that renders an aircraft not airworthy if you don't have that. But after about 15 minutes, the flight attendant came on. And this is kind of the interesting part, and I've never had a flight like this. He came on, he's like, okay, guys.
The flight attendant or the pilot, captain?
The flight attendant, yeah, because
Okay.
he stepped up to the front on the intercom and came to the, front of the cabin where he can see everybody. Because he was like, okay, explain the issue. And since it was only an hour and a half flight, he said, if we can't get this water hookup running, which they weren't able to, you won't have running water to wash your hands and you won't have coffee. By a show of hands, how many of you are okay with being on this plane versus, getting another plane? He was like, okay, how many of you would rather be on another plane and just switch? Nobody raised their hands.
I mean, granted, that's an easy option. Like, he's making it sound like there is another plane, which probably wasn't the case at the time.
No. And the way the captain made it sound like there was no guarantees of even getting another plane.
So you took a vote? Like, you
Yes.
literally took a vote.
Yes, we raised our hands.
What you just said like a couple seconds ago, like, I don't think I've ever been on a flight where a literal vote has taken place, like Survivor style.
Right.
Like, are you kidding me?
And I guess I'm thinking about that, I think, 2 podcasts ago, we were showing that video of let's vote this person off.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So you guys voted to
We
stay
took
on there.
a
That's
Hilarious.
vote.
That's hilarious. Like, was it too close to call? Like, what happened?
It absolutely wasn't. Nobody
Like,
raised
was it
their hands to
electoral?
get a
Like,
new
was there an
plane.
electoral college? How does how does voting on a plane work?
Oh, it was
Were there
overwhelming.
ballots? Was it literally just by hand?
Yep.
I mean-
Raised our hands like this. Yep. Hands
guess-
in the air.
So
guess
did
it's
anyone
Southwest.
was it literally unanimous, or was there anyone on the other side? Like, did someone choose for a plane? Like, did
No.
anyone?
Nobody that I saw. I did just a quick glance. I did not see a single hand raised to get a new plane. And when he said, all right, hands up to just keep this plane and go without and just use hand sanitizer or whatever, everybody raised their hands.
Now, here's a question for you. What if, again, super hypothetical here.
Right.
I love my hypotheticals. What if he had said, you can get a new plane and it's going to be Imua One? You would have been like, boom!
I will walk off of this
lady
flight
right
if you
here
put
will
me
get
on Imua One.
Wouldn't that be funny if that's how it works? He's like, you can get a new plane. It'll be a special delivery, and people are like, don't care. But you're like,
Pick me. I will be the only one to walk off and get on this special livery. However, my mom may have been not very happy with me because she probably would have stayed on the plane and been
see,
on
that's
her
what
own.
you should have taken a step further and be like, Do we know the registration of the new plane? Can we see it on flight? Is it special livery?
Can we see a picture? Can you point out, like, is the plane here? Can you point it out?
Now, when you say new plane, do you mean like brand new plane? Do you mean a special livery? What do you mean, sir?
Right. Like, let's get into specifics.
We're bringing a 25-year-old aircraft.
Yeah.
Is it a
get off this
special,
brand
though?
new Max for a 27-year-old 700, right?
Yeah, where the bin space is just so tiny you can barely fit your bags in there. Yeah, but,
So the vote took place.
The vote took place, and from what I saw, every single person voted to stay on this aircraft and just go. And that led to a lot of paperwork because, like I said, technically that renders it not airworthy. So they had to fill out a whole bunch of paperwork based on our hand raises that we wanted to continue on to St. Louis. And we pushed back about 45 minutes delayed. And
at the end of the day, which is nothing, by the way.
Right. And in the grand scheme of things, nothing. And I was sitting there. I mean, we only had an hour in St. Louis. So here I was thinking, we're going to get there. And by the time we get off the plane, they're going to be already boarded for that flight. And I was like, I'm going to miss my connection.
You were tripping via text message for sure. You were tripping.
Yeah.
Yes. Our group text got a little bit wild.
It was hilarious.
It was a roller coaster. But so I get to St. Louis. Great flight. Beautiful. I get there and I am nailed with a 2-hour delay.
So it sounds like you're going to make the flight.
Yep. That's exactly what I said in the group text. So good news, bad news. Good news, I'm going to make my connection. Bad news, it's going to be in 2 hours. So yeah, we made it. Had a beer, had some snacks at St. Louis Airport. Got to Omaha. Very, beautiful flight.
Yeah, you landed during golden hour, so it kind of worked out at the end of the day.
Great.
It worked out at the end of the day,
Yes.
right?
However, I had a little bit of a confrontation with a passenger.
Ooh.
On
Your mom?
my flight out of Dallas.
Your mom?
No, my mom sat behind me.
Oh, that's awkward.
Yeah,
Why is your mom sitting behind you?
both had
Hi,
window
Mom.
seat.
So your mom's a big window fan as well. It's not like you had a disagreement and you weren't talking kind of thing.
Right, yeah.
Gotcha.
We both agreed on it. We were like, hey, this is what we're going to do.
It's kind of like the Redway flight when we all took windows.
Yep.
And trying to check in, they're like, you want to sit together? Obviously, you're like, no, we don't.
No.
We want windows, yeah. And so the lady next to me.
And this was on the flight Dallas to St. Louis, correct?
Yep, Dallas to St. Louis. And right after we pushed back, I opened my window shades since they had us all close them due to the heat. So I opened my window shade up, of course.
Naturally.
Yep. And the lady next to me was like, could you please close your window shade?
No, sorry.
Yeah.
Could you please shut up?
I was like, I was kind of taken aback by that. I was like, hold up, what? And she was like, I've just come down with such a bad case of glaucoma, and I like the sun as much as anybody else, but I can't handle it right now.
She said she came down with a case of glaucoma.
That was her exact words, yes.
All right, listen, I know there's people out there struggling right now. Things are tough, but
right.
You don't come down with a case of glaucoma, I believe.
Yeah.
I'm not a doctor, but anyway, sorry. What do I know?
Right.
A case of guacamole?
She had a case of, this woman had a case of the Thursdays, basically. Like, come on, are you serious? Like,
right. And being the nice person that I am, I closed it a little bit. I left it about the quarter of the way up, because, okay.
Being the nice person that you are, like, it's okay, yeah, she had a case of glaucoma.
Yeah, and because she had that, I was trying to be accommodating. I was trying to be nice, not start a war on board or anything and have us go back to the gate, one of those issues.
Southwest flight, start a war.
Yeah.
Right. And so we get to the runway, and I open up, a little bit more to look out, and I knew she had sunglasses, which if you have a condition like that, it's only essential to have that. So I open it up a little bit more, and she's like, I'm just going to put my sunglasses on. She does that, and she's like, okay, go on now.
Yeah, thanks for your permission, ma'am. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Again, no disrespect,
Right.
but hey, listen, this could happen. You're on a flight. Like, she's lucky
Right,
that she
it's
didn't run
something
into
you
someone.
have to be prepared for.
At least you were being nice. There's people that would be the exact opposite.
Right.
That may have been me.
Such as me, such as
Right,
Adamo
yeah.
and myself. Yeah.
Because, it goes into something I want to talk about later. I'll just bring it up now.
Yeah.
If you have the window seat, you have all privileges.
You are entitled to that window, yes.
Okay.
Again, there is context as everything. There's context.
Right, yes. And I was trying to be accommodating in all that of her, of course. And the way I see it, just as you said, Adama, if you have the window seat, you're entitled to the window. And when you have a condition like that, you have to, make those accommodations for yourself. So if you know that you need something specific, either you book with an airline where you can choose your seat, or with Southwest, you can do A-list boarding, priority boarding, early bird check-in.
Yeah, you just can't always get that though for Southwest. So maybe she wasn't in a position she couldn't though.
Right.
That's the deal.
And you never know. Of course, there's always a side to a story. But I tried to be nice.
In her case, she didn't realize she was sitting next to the biggest av geek on the plane.
Right.
She doesn't know your story either.
You should have promoted the podcast and let her know.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I should have.
You're gonna be on the podcast. What?
Yeah. Hey, did you know I have a podcast? And I think I'm going to feature you on there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, again, I hope she doesn't fly in Europe because it is a requirement. But when you land and when you take off, those shades are going to be open.
And that's what they made us do on my...
would be on.
Yep, exactly. And that's what they made me do on my Aer Lingus flight. All shades had to be up for landing and departure. So
yeah. So be grateful that we can close our shades. I don't know.
I mean, why would you? But yeah.
Exactly. I don't get it. Okay. So anything else from your flight you want to talk about?
I think that pretty much.
Great people from Southwest.
Weren't you there welcoming them back? And you and Pablo were there to welcome you back, right?
Yeah, they were. Yeah. I had a flight attendant actually compliment me on aileron and baguette. He said he absolutely loved them on our way into Denver.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay. Yeah. We were both there, and you here at Epley, United had a broken down aircraft in one of the gates, and then there's construction here, and so it caused you guys to not get out on time, I think, or get off the gate, or the what am I saying? Trying to get off the aircraft, because you were able to take a picture of Pablo and I, and Pablo arrived after you.
Yeah, I don't, and it's funny you bring that up because I forgot about that till now, and I was just about to message you. It took us an eternity to get off the plane. I mean, I was sitting on there for at least 15 minutes probably, and nobody was moving. And so I was thinking, I was about to ask, is there a jet bridge issue? Can you see the jet bridge connected to the plane? Because nobody was getting off.
What was the issue?
I don't know.
It was a jet bridge issue. That's what Pablo was saying.
Oh, okay. This is the first I'm learning about this. Nobody said. So.
And then we had the two Southwest planes that were just waiting for you guys to get off and back out. And it was very congested yesterday.
It was. Yeah, because it was a mixture of us being 2 hours delayed plus apparently a jet bridge issue now that I just learned.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
It is, yeah.
So you're back here, and
at the end of the day, could have been worse. Like you said, you were I said, that string of text messages was quite entertaining for me at work. I mean, you went from missing all your connections, flight canceled. Oh, bye, we're taxiing, and then missing your connection, canceled, and then all of a sudden you're back in Omaha. And really, at the end of the day, it's 2 hours delayed, which, hey, given a midday Southwest flight, I'd say we're doing all right.
Especially for Southwest, exactly.
Yeah, and I don't know what the deal was with that 2 hour delay. We ended up getting an aircraft swap last minute, so within 30 minutes of us departing, aircraft swap. So I don't know what exactly the issue was. I think it was an issue with the departure out of wherever the aircraft was coming out of. So
you always got something going on. I would naturally say maybe, hey, try the Omaha to DFW American flight, but knowing you would be on and something would happen. That's just who you are.
Something with me.
You wouldn't want to be on there,
right?
The very first flight I took, this same issue happened in Atlanta. Issues with the plane, had to get on a new one. So I don't know. I have adventurous flights. Yeah,
it's the Paige effect.
It's the Paige effect.
If you see Paige on your flight, just be like, shit.
Here we go. Yep.
Like that feeling you had getting a bad feeling when you got on board. If you
that's
see
what
Paige on the flight, you're like,
and that's what everyone's gonna think. They see me walk on, they're like, ooh,
they're like, well, this is automatic 2 hour delay.
I feel like that though.
Thanks, aileron.
Oh, poor aileron.
All right, we will be back.
All right, welcome back to the exit row. Still feeling all right? We still good? Everyone with us?
Doing great.
Perfect. All right. So, speaking of boarding aircraft, I believe you boarded 4 flights recently, Paige. United Airlines. Talk about them shifting from Southwest to United. They unveiled that they're going to be going into it. They're going to introduce a new boarding procedure, basically, starting, I think, relatively soon, like the end of this month. Starting with Group 4, they're going to start doing it a different way. Would you like to talk a little more about this one, Paige? Maybe Adama, one of you?
Yeah, I can handle it. They're going to be doing boarding the way I personally have thought boarding should be done for a very long time. They're going to be doing window seats first, then middle seats, then aisle seats.
Starting at Group 4, though, so not not the whole plane. So starting once they do 1, 2, 3, 4, starting at Group 4, then it goes that way.
Yeah. Yep.
So they're still going to do the pre-boarding process of like, hey,
the Adamas,
military,
the
veterans,
Yep.
the old people,
the people that need a little extra assistance, the first class, and then the 1s, the 2s, the 3s, and then if you got that 4.
Yep.
Which I like it. I think that's the most efficient way to board an aircraft.
Absolutely, it makes the most sense.
Because there's nothing worse than when you're like walking up the aisle and you've got 1 or 2 people already sitting in that seat, and you've got the window, and you just got to make a move.
Yep.
I always hate that. I just hate that so much.
Me too.
Because first you got to get that person's attention, which is usually a challenge on its own.
Yep.
Yeah, especially if they already have their headphones in or something like that.
I'm like, I have to get up for you.
Yeah, it's the worst, honestly.
Okay, so 4, 5, and 6, right? 4 window, 5 middle, 6 aisle. Okay, so now think about this. If I'm the person that has the aisle seat, I'm the person that I have my baggage here, my luggage here, and now there's no space for me.
Yeah.
Bummer.
So there is a disadvantage to this if you
are
an aisle seat, you might actually have to, depending on, what the aircraft is, let's say a little CRJ, you're probably going to have to put it under it anyways. But yeah, people may have issues with putting their luggage on.
Right.
But hey, that could have happened either way, just depending when you get on the aircraft, though. So yeah.
Yeah.
So and then what if you're going with a family? Are they going to tell you to board with 4, 5, or 6?
So
yeah.
You mean like you got 2 small kids? You're obviously not going to split them up, right? I mean, obviously this is not going to be obeyed by everyone. This is probably going to be something that they want people to do. But if you have an aisle and you go in Group 4 at the same time, you're probably still going to get on.
Yeah.
So.
And you can also elect like family boarding if you have, very small children that can't do this for themselves. So
I assume the policing of this isn't going to be very strict. It's going to be more like, I hope this gets obeyed.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
It's interesting.
Because, I mean, there's people that board in Group 5 there's people that have Group 5, say, and they board during Group 2. It just happens. But it's not like their ticket gets flagged. They just are heavily shunned upon at the gate.
Oh.
Right.
I mean, I guess I'm thinking Delta, because Delta, they will, no, you can't board right now. Go back.
That's what American did to me.
It all depends on the gate agent. Yeah. There's times where they do that, but there's also times where they say, hey, this is Group 2, right? Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's great. However, if I'm aisle seat, I hope I can get my luggage up there, or I don't have to put it, in the back of the aircraft,
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. Okay, so United Airlines debuting that new boarding order. This week, I looked back at my picture of Imua One that I took back in September when it arrived here in Omaha, and I sent to you two a video, which obviously with the Google Pixel that didn't really look so great.
That picture was awesome.
So I have an iPhone, and I sent it to Justin. Justin has a Google Pixel, and he showed me what it looked like, and I can now understand why you're like,
it was a potato.
It was a potato.
I was going to say, in Justin's words, this is potatoes.
It was so weird.
It was tough to look at.
So,
like, is that even a plane?
So
it was a potato, man. Like, it was just like, I'm not even sure what I'm doing here, but let's move on.
There's a lot of colors. So I showed it to him here on my iPhone.
Like looking at a kaleidoscope or something. I was like, I'm not even sure.
That's true.
And going back to the conversation, recently you just talked about Paige in the last segment. You were talking about the window.
Yeah.
Okay. So I sent it to you guys and was showing like, hey, 16 people had their window shades closed. And I found it interesting that with the exit row, those go up instead of down. The windows do.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
But then I showed to you guys that, hey, that the first window actually is blocked off. So it's a hidden window. It's not. They just don't have a seat there. But I found that interesting, and I just wanted you guys to see that. So if anybody is looking at Imua One, you will
as
notice.
Paige mentioned, those might be Maxes in general.
Yes, because when I was boarding my Maxes, I noticed that. Because usually when you're boarding the plane, at least a 737, that first window, you can see the person who's sitting there. But I was noticing when I was boarding those Maxes that it was the, hidden window.
Interesting factoid.
And
I love stuff like that.
I think Ryanair has the first window blocked off because that's where the bathroom is on their aircraft.
Smart.
Or the lavatory.
Unless you're on an A220 and there's a window in the bathroom, which I don't know why that's not a thing everywhere. But
It should be.
It is awesome, by the way.
I still need to get on A220. That's one
Me
aircraft
too.
that I've never been on that I would love to go on.
Same.
But yeah, especially the window. I'm like, that window in the bathroom, I'm going to go in there.
Yes.
So,
I will say from experience, looking out that window at 33,000 feet using the bathroom, it's glorious, man. It's glorious.
I can imagine.
Salt Lake City, SFO to Salt Lake City on Delta A220.
I think Air Canada has the best A220 look.
Yes, I agree.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like,
Okay.
I can't argue it. Like, it looks so
It looks good. I would say ITA's A220s are sharp, though.
True.
Yeah.
I knew I'd get you there.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean, Air Canada's are sharp, but ITA's are...
ITA always looks good, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I will never argue it. It's the Gucci aircraft, literally.
Yeah, it is.
Or the Louis Vuitton.
Yes. Yeah, there you go.
That design on there is just so recognizable.
I would love to see one of the Air Canada A220s in the toothpaste livery, though. I would like to see that.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
Oh,
We're
I
talking.
saw it on...
No, you didn't.
No, not the A220, but the toothpaste I did see in the LAX.
Right?
What do you mean?
I was like, whatever you're saying is a lie.
You know something we don't.
I thought you've seen everything. Yeah. So yeah, the Imua One, pretty interesting, beautiful aircraft, and then that first window is blocked off. So, Paige, it's your moment now.
Paige's polls.
Pages polls.
Paige's polls.
And that kind of segues into what my poll is going to be.
Paige's misspelled polls.
She can't spell? Oh, yeah, let's talk about that.
Stop.
School.
Accident.
Nebraska education. Fremont?
Shut it,
Fremont,
shut
Nebraska?
it, shut it. My God.
I mean, I spelled it correctly. I still went here, but
Whatever.
that word aisle, it's tricky, man.
Stop.
It's a silent A. It's a silent A.
Yeah, it was an accident. Now that you had to point it out. Okay.
Anyway.
So, poll this week was window, middle, or aisle seat.
Aisle, as in like an island? Like the Isle of Man?
No.
Thank you.
Stop it.
Man. Exactly what I was thinking.
So, okay.
Would you... Sorry,
Good
I'm
Lord.
going to take this just a little further. Would you prefer the window, the middle, or the Isle of Man?
I'm never going to hear the end of this.
Okay, so American English, right?
Yes. I it was an
pull it together
accident
here.
once. I spelled it correctly the first time.
Okay, so the result.
The result is window winning at a whopping 83%.
Not shocking.
Right. Aisle with 11%.
those
And
people-
middle had a couple.
Wait.
However,
Go ahead.
However, do those people that were voting aisle, now seeing how it was, were they voting for ISLE?
Oh, for the love of God.
And not A.
Jeez.
We don't know. We don't know.
Don't know. Maybe they really voted for the Isle of Man.
100%. Big fans. But anyway, let's talk about this a little further.
The
Not
amount of
about
times
your
I've rolled
spelling.
my eyes in the last 2 minutes, if y'all can see it.
Let's talk about this a little further. Not your spelling necessarily, but the people that chose middle.
Yeah. Somebody chose
Yes.
middle?
Do we know how many votes specifically there were?
Yes. It was 6% with 2 votes.
So 2 votes. So we're talking 2 people. I mean, I would love to have them here right now. And just why?
Yeah.
Right. I would like to know.
Are you just a huge fan of armrests?
One of them is a relative of somebody who was a special guest on the previous.
Yeah, Pablo. Yeah. Pablo's mom voted a middle seat.
Pablo's mom?
Boss? Yeah.
Shout out to Boss.
Yeah.
Hi, Boss.
Yep. She voted that middle seat.
She chose middle?
Yes, she did.
I want to know.
Me too.
Hopefully that was just a fat finger mistake kind of thing.
You would hope, because it was only 2 people. Because, see, window got 29 votes, middle with 2, aisle with 4.
Do we go ahead and publicly shame the second person? Who was it? Do we do it?
No.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know who the second person was, but yeah, there's only 2 people on there who voted for the middle, and that's crazy.
You know who you are, though.
Right.
And we know.
Yeah, I don't have the username handy with me right now, but yes, middle got 2 votes, and I was totally expecting it to get 0, so I'm shocked.
Yeah. So segueing into window seat, middle seat, aisle seat, AISLE.
Oh my goodness gracious.
We can all agree that if you have the window seat,
exit row spelling bee, right? Paige would lose.
Oh, yeah, here we go again.
Spell the exit row. XITRO.
Hey, we love you. That's why we do it.
I know.
So I think we can all agree that if you have the window, that you have all rights to that window.
Control of the full plane. Yeah, or the window, yes.
Yeah, the full plane.
Control of the full
takeoff,
plane.
departure.
Control of the plane.
Okay. Can we agree? And I hear it sounds like Feedy Boy maybe.
Is there a Feedy Boy?
It's a FedEx feeder, guys. That's what Feedy Boy means.
Yep. Yeah, for those who don't know, FedEx feeders, those little Cessna caravans, it sure is a Feedy Boy. We got a Feedy Boy tuning into the podcast tonight, special guest.
All right. Back to the podcast. Middle seat, we can agree that you own both of the armrests.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with it. I don't want to agree with it, but I do.
Yeah, like you have the priority. If you want to give it up, fine. But the armrests belong to the middle seat person. And then the aisle, they can't complain about anything because they have all the space. Mm-hmm. Right. They have the most space, so there's nothing for them to complain about. They could complain about the person like me who's at the window seat and has to go to the bathroom all the time because,
right.
Well, I have a weak bladder and I'm not going to do the aisle seat because I want my window. And you guys can move. So, right. I'm entitled, okay? Let me be a Karen, and I
right.
want to speak to your manager, Mr. Isle.
The floor is yours, Adama. The floor is yours.
So, yeah, I just wanted to clarify that we believe here on the exit row that if you go to the middle seat, you get both of the armrests. All right.
All
right.
I agree.
Yes.
So, let's see. Next. So recently, we just had a solar eclipse. Beautiful here in Nebraska.
Just a sight to be seen.
You sent us a picture of the solar eclipse.
So nice. If you follow me on social media, I showed my footage.
I had a few tears when I saw that picture. Honestly, it was so beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, you could say you were crying. Some might have been crying, depending on what you expected.
Exactly.
So for those who don't know, here in Nebraska, it did not show.
It was like 89% cloud coverage, technically.
Yeah.
Super cloudy. We missed it, unfortunately.
It was a cool one. I like these eclipses technically better. I like the Ring of Fire eclipse versus the other ones that are just the full one. But the Ring of Fire is the cool one.
Now, remember, make sure you wear glasses, unlike some people we know we've seen on TV who haven't worn them before in front of everybody.
Staring straight at the sun.
So Southwest, they showed on their social media, it was really cool. Somebody from a previous solar eclipse, maybe last year or the year before, they showed a picture of somebody who was on their aircraft and who took a picture of it from the air, which was beautiful. And so they're trying to capitalize on it. And the next total eclipse will be April 8th, 2024. Sorry, excuse me. And they showed the path of the next total eclipse. And So if you're wanting to get on flights, they even have like the specific flights, like 1721 from Austin, Indianapolis, departing at certain times.
Yeah, they've got it like broken into flights that are partially in the path and flights that are almost, the entire flight is almost in the path in totality.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Which is really cool, by the way.
The ones that are, it's Dallas to St. Louis is completely the whole time. Austin to Indianapolis, same. And then you have some that are just partially there, like Houston to St. Louis or St. Louis to Pittsburgh. So really interesting.
Really cool.
And
it is Southwest doing it, though. Let's give this with a grain of salt here. Just knowing, like, Paige just spent 30 minutes talking about her delayed flights on Southwest.
Just
can you imagine
that, though?
Dude, can you imagine booking that flight and the disappointment if that even leaves 10 minutes late? It's a different story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, I think all three of us want to go on one next year. And like, let's think if we actually bought it like next week, we made it happen. And then, we get the Southwest.
And you've been waiting for so long. Yeah, for that moment.
And we're going to miss it.
Like I said, even if it's not a significant delay, a delay of 10 minutes changes things completely.
It does.
I think the exit row should spread out. We should all take a flight. You take the Pittsburgh route. You take the Indianapolis. You know what I mean? We should all spread out and get exit row coverage, even though I'll be in Phoenix because Creighton will be in the Final Four at that time.
Yes, they will.
Here first.
Let's go, Jays.
Woo.
Wait to look back on that prediction.
Right, yeah. Episode 10. Now. Let's remember it.
Well, we'll be at like episode 27 at that time.
Yeah.
Hey, and we got the Sweet 16, Elite 8 here?
College basketball first 2 rounds. So the first 2 rounds, not quite Sweet 16, but yeah.
Super excited.
Heck
yeah. So hopefully those fights don't get delayed, and hopefully we don't get delayed.
But like I said, even if it's like a 5-10 minute delay, that changes things completely. It'll be interesting to see if those all go off without a hitch.
Yeah, I'm curious. I mean, surely one of them out of the several that they've posted is going to have an issue, you would think.
Yeah, it's just the way it is.
Right, even if it's just a 10-minute delay, like you said.
Right.
Now, all three of us, we photograph, right? We're aviation enthusiasts. We photograph. Now, Southwest and their cattle boarding status, or the checking in. Yeah. Everybody looks like cattle getting ready to get slaughtered.
Like a barnyard over there in Terminal C.
So what if you book and you check in late? Now you're in C, and now you don't get the window.
So that's what I'm saying. Like it's another interesting aspect of that being on Southwest, that there's not. The seats are not chosen at the beginning.
Yeah.
So it will be kind of like basically a sprint to whoever gets Group A, like early bird check-in.
And unlike what happened to me, you would hope that you get someone that keeps their window shade open so that you at least have a chance to see it.
Oh, yeah.
Well, regardless of that, there's only so many window seats on the plane, as we know.
Yep.
Right.
So it will be interesting to see if that flight's a mix of just people traveling, period, or people that are av geeks, photographers. Because like you said, there's only so many window seats.
Right.
And
like you said, their cattle boarding status is very interesting. So.
Right.
What's what it looks like. I might take my chances with somebody else, but good luck to everybody who is going to try that next year.
Paige.
Yeah, we'll see.
Stick with your Southwest. We'll talk about it in the next segment about the new Southwest elite status.
Oh, yeah?
Whatever they do. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. On that note, we will be right back.
Welcome back to the exit row. Adama, I believe you have some information you'd like to share with us.
Oh.
I guess it's information. So
please do.
So I just want to talk about Delta, which, speaking of, little fun fact, Delta Airlines is the only airline in America that does airlines split up. So it's air, space, lines.
Like it's in 2 words.
Right. Yeah, 2 words.
That is interesting, actually. That actually is interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
That's interesting information.
Fun fact, trivia with the exit row. And Delta Airlines, 2 words or 3 words. The CEO finally got back to everybody and said, hey, we messed this up, but we're going to try to fix it. Obviously, they're not fixing it, but they are delaying everything like I had previously stated. But they're going to change some of the status and some of the way that people earn miles and the way that people will get into the lounge. So people who have the reserve card will no longer have to be subjected to that every single visit to the air lounge, the Sky Lounge is going to count against you. It's now going to be 24 hours and 15 a year. So they're making the changes, and I think the main reason why some of these changes or the issues that they're having with the Sky Lounge just being packed comes with when COVID happened, like people like me couldn't fly. I had status, and they rolled everybody over and said, hey, you can maintain your status the next year and then the following year. Yeah. And so now this is why we have this huge backlog and everybody has status. And not that that's wrong that everybody has status, but the statuses need to be updated and need to be corrected. And so that's what they're trying to do. And Delta listened to everybody and they made some changes. Again, they're still a credit card company in my eyes.
We'll see how long those changes hold up. And
speaking of airlines, Delta credit card company.
There you go. So Justin, transitioning over, you wanted to talk about the Concord, and I sent you this week about the Pepsi livery that was on a Concord, and that's crazy.
Right.
Oh yeah, you sent us like a group. We have a group text here, the exit row, and you sent us a picture, just like I think out of just pure curiosity. You just saw the picture. It was interesting, right?
Yeah.
Had you seen that before? Actually,
I've never seen it before.
Yeah, it's funny you brought that up. So it was actually owned by Air France. So Air France and British Airways. Both.
Air France.
Air France.
Air France.
Baguette knows something about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Which baguette's here?
What's up, Bag? Sorry, I don't know if that's is that a diss to call them Bag?
I don't know.
Most people it would be, but with Baguette, I'm not sure. Anyway, Moving on. Let's see. So yeah, that Pepsi livery, we should put that on our story for people to see if they haven't. So, special liveries nowadays, Pepsi put a special livery on a Concord that was owned by Air France at the time. Really interesting. It was all blue. Actually pretty cool, but turns out it was only on there for maybe a couple weeks, maybe a month at most. Wow. So interesting facts about the Concord. So obviously it flew supersonic when it could, because during that time, you couldn't fly supersonic in the States at the time. Mm-hmm. So with it being all blue, if you do look at this, if you choose to look up this plane online and you see what we're talking about, this plane was basically all blue except for on the wings, it was white. But when this plane would travel at its Mach 2 speed, it would get the Concord so hot, like the aircraft itself would become too hot that it can only do Mach 2 for I think it was 20 to 30 minutes at a time, which became, obviously pointless. If you can only go Mach 2 at 20, 25 minutes at a time. So this livery was very short-lived because it ended up being just counteractive to it. I found that really interesting because it was actually pretty cool looking, but the Concord was such a different beast.
Oh, yeah.
And that, when you really look at some of the logistics into it and just something like that, you don't see a lot of all black liveries. There are some, but you don't see a lot of them because performance is literally part of it.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty crazy. There's a reason why you see a lot of airlines flying basically white planes.
Yep.
There's a reason for that. But anyway, it is interesting looking at that Pepsi livery. Like I said, they couldn't go above Mach 2 for about 20 minutes at a time. So obviously, like I said, it was counteractive. It ended up getting axed and getting painted in into the all-white Air France, as people know. So there you go. Now we're all a little smarter. You're welcome.
Fun facts and information. Truth.
Right.
Yeah.
Right here on the exit row.
Yeah, it looks like, let me see. Do we have the registration? I did. We'll put it on. We'll put it online.
Yeah.
Put it online. Just search Pepsi Concord. Boom. That's all you need to do.
A part of me is interested in that, Lego Concord. Mm-hmm. I've seen people. That's so many, and it costs so much. But
what's weird is just looking at this plane now. I don't know if you've also seen, but there's a McDonald's MD-80, I believe. Oh. It was an all red MD-80 because it kind of reminds me a lot of this Pepsi Concord. Oh. It had the golden arches on the tail, but it was an all red MD-80. I bet you two have seen it.
I'm pretty sure I have.
Seen it. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That was an interesting one because there were just different special liveries back in the day versus like what we have now.
Yeah, like Shamu. There was a Shamu one.
Right. But just
Shamu got canceled, so.
Right.
Like it'd be, like nowadays that'd be like the equivalent to seeing like a Taco Bell Southwest 737, right? Like what would that be?
Yeah.
Right.
With Pete Davidson's face on it or something.
Oh,
something weird.
Oh my God.
But anyway, there's my little history for the day.
And transitioning on, we have another new update to a livery.
Yep.
Avianca from Colombia?
Huge update.
Yeah, I think it's Colombia. Yeah, they updated their new logo, and they really just changed the capital A to a lowercase a.
Massive changes.
And changed the color of their red.
Barely. I mean, yes, technically there were changes, but were they?
I'm so tired of everything being lowercase.
Right.
Actually, a whole lot's not lowercase. Majority of airlines are uppercase. So
Yeah, Delta, United,
Frontier.
Shout out to Allegiant.
Yeah, so Avianca, you've updated your logo, and
it was a bold move. Bold move. You changed one letter. Bold move, Avianca.
It's so beautiful.
If you're listening,
it makes all the difference.
If you're listening, Avianca, well done. Wow, what a move.
And, free stickers, and come here.
We'll take all the X merch that is now in the uppercase because it's no longer valid. We'll take all that merch.
And
exactly.
We will give it to our listeners. There you go.
Sure.
All right. Next, let's transition to one of our favorite airports, LAX.
Woo!
Yeah.
Shout out to LAX.
We're going to be there again next year, maybe twice. So, found out, somebody put it out on Reddit or Twitter, like, hey, what are these little boxes that are out here on the runway or the taxiway? And going into a little bit more information, I'll pass it on to you guys, that there's actually like...
Adama and his information.
Thanks, Paige. So... They actually have an endangered butterfly. Of course, it's California. Everything's endangered. And they have some endangered butterflies that are there near the airport, and they just happen to be at the airport. So it's really cool. And if you're at LAX, just check it out.
So the Reddit comment for like live raptors, that wasn't... Oh, I thought that was it. Or for small ramp agents, it was a house for small ramp agents.
Yeah, it was kind of funny, some of the comments that people had. That's the Spirit Airlines check-in counter. That was
so you're referring to two houses. It's funny because I've never really noticed them until you brought that up, and they're in between, I think it was 25L and 25R. But interesting, yeah, very interesting. Yeah. Of all the places to put that, it seems odd, right?
Especially in the airport. I'm like, these butterflies... What happens when a good old Spirit is coming through and, well, he's gone.
Like,
right.
So,
you think they would put off to the other side of there, not in between two active runways. I could even maybe understand on the side of one of them, but not in between two active runways.
Yeah.
Right.
So instead of a bird strike, we got a butterfly strike, guys.
Is that even known? I mean, do you even notice a butterfly when it's hit? Probably not. That's probably why those houses are never filled.
So, yeah, fun facts with Adama. We got quite a few more later on.
Love fun facts.
So speaking of another fun fact, looked it up earlier today or earlier this week, and no airline, specifically the 787, has a SkyTeam livery on it.
So this goes back to our podcast where we were either Team Star Alliance, SkyTeam, or One World.
Yep.
Yeah.
And aren't you your team?
I'm Team SkyTeam.
So it is interesting because there's even brand new A350s out there that have the SkyTeam livery. I just assumed there was a Dreamliner out there in some random country that had it probably.
Right.
But it doesn't. That's kind of crazy.
Right. It would be beautiful on a 787.
There's Star Alliance Dreamliners in the livery Star Alliance, but it's weird that there's no SkyTeams.
Yeah.
And if so, who would we like to see in it?
Come on, Delta. Do it.
Do it.
Or actually, you know what though? KLM.
I was just going to say.
Because they have the 787s.
KLM... Sometimes KLM I love more than I love Delta. But, yeah, I know.
Whoa, right? Exactly.
That's my favorite European airline.
Delta, cover your ears.
Guys, I mean, I sent it to you this week. Like, they literally did a video on their 104th little house that they created. Shout out to Able One, who is over us. That is the Omaha
Are we
Police
safe?
Department helicopter.
Yeah, I've been hearing that the past
They're
couple
literally
minutes.
over us. This is quite normal.
Guest feature is Able One helicopter.
We need to wrap this podcast up. We got to get to the basement.
But yeah, KLM, I just love them. They're great. Going over to Europe, we'll transition to Europe, and this is pretty much going to close it out here. Did you guys know that Ryanair had a 737-700?
Ooh.
Why is this unique?
Stubby boy.
The reason why is because it was a VIP config, and they only had one.
Because their whole fleet is literally of the 800 variant, right?
It is.
800 or max, yeah.
Like, unlike Southwest, where it's all 737, like with Ryanair, it's literally all the 800 variant.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just interesting when I heard that. I was like, wait, 737-700, and it was only VIP config.
That's even the more interesting part. Not only that there's one 700, but it was in a VIP. That's interesting.
Right.
Just like, what is it, Sun Country has a VIP config one, and it's like all white. It doesn't say
it's got a tail.
Sun Country.
Yeah,
It
except for the
takes
tail,
people
I think.
I think the one you're talking about is the one that goes from LAX to the Hawaiian Islands, and it takes VIPs from LAX to Hawaii.
There you go.
Oh.
Fun facts.
Right.
The exit row.
Yeah. I mean, again, join us. You'll learn.
Just like we saw Drake's plane, and that was
Yeah.
our first trip to LAX.
It was.
And it's all clouds.
That
really beautiful.
yeah, that's a beautiful livery.
It is. Well, we have no more facts to share. So on that note, let's talk about our social media. Paige, where can we reach you?
Start the handle train.
The handle train is starting with OMA_spotter_Paige, and then you can find my little travel buddy, Adventures with Aileron.
And not Baguette, just
Baguette shares the account with her.
That's just here.
Justin.
You can find me at spotting.omaha. The dot is key.
And you can find myself Photography by Adama D on
Photography.
I have to do it every time. And you can also get us or reach out to us on the Exit Row Pod on Instagram. For Justin, Paige, and myself, we will see you again in 2 weeks. Thanks for listening. Please share, like, and subscribe. And we appreciate you. From the Exit Row, good night.
See you later.
Bye.